Hello everyone, welcome to episode number 53 of Chatting with Anthony. In today's episode, I'm going to address the topic of fear and why the presence of fear will make anything you do, any challenge, just anything, more difficult. So I'm going to start by defining fear. Fear is an unpleasant emotion that is caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, or likely to cause pain, or a threat. But again, it is the belief, because fear is an emotion. Now, emotions are essentially just what you make of them, and what I mean by that is we all feel them, but they don't really change anything. Our emotions are basically just a reaction to whatever we have going on in our lives, and we can definitely utilize our emotions to our advantage. That's a big thing. You can utilize them for motivation. You can utilize them to dramatize something, but your emotions don't really change anything. Again, they're just your reaction. They're not they are to an extent like a defense mechanism, but even then, it's not even your emotion that's the defense mechanism. It's just what you do with that emotion. Like if you're about to get attacked, you get fearful but also angry and you fight back. The fear itself didn't really do anything to help you other than just give you like that neat moment of motivation to defend. So there you go. You need to utilize it. Essentially, on its own, it cannot change your circumstances. Just to summarize what I said, the fear will not change. It will not change whatever you have going on. But your actions do, and your actions don't have emotion to them. But your actions can be done because of emotions. There you go. See, came full circle. And humans understand, like humans have figured this out, and we've known this for a while. Because those who have a really hard time controlling their emotions, we typically have them labeled as some kind of like of having some kind of disability or disease. I think it just shows that we place a large emphasis of it. We understand how powerful our emotions are and how much good or bad they can do. Like, I do think that most of the mass shootings that we've seen happen over the last how many years are people who are in a bad emotional state and they weren't able to bring themselves out of it, sadly. But also to go back into the topic specifically of fear versus logic. They're both going to talk to you. Typically the fear is a bit louder though, because the logic isn't necessarily like sexy or eye-popping. Kind of like how that red, depending on what you prefer, but that Red Bull or that Celsius won't be quite the same as like, actually no, I take it back. The black coffee isn't quite the same as like a drink that's part coffee, part cream, part sugar, part flavoring. It's not as dopamine inducing, it's not as eye-catching, it's not as desirable. It's just plain. And that's what the logic is. But if you could teach yourself to learn how to enjoy plain or bland, you're at an advantage. For example, I cannot stand plain or bland food. I just don't like it. I want my food seasoned, I want it flavored, and I try to utilize healthy ways to do that, but rather than just like using a bunch of artificial stuff. But still, I want my food to taste good, and that's how I see it. Now thankfully for me, I'm also blessed in regards to I have no problem drinking, say, black coffee. I have no problem just reading books. I have no problem just going from work, coming to the gym, exercising, and then I'm recording YouTube videos. Wow, I forgot what I was doing. Even though days like today were tough and I couldn't even get through my weightlifting session because I was just really under recovered, because I need to recover better, but I need to eat more. That's my own fault, but you learn from your mistakes. I'm mad that I had to miss a workout, and that's motivation to go home and shove food down my gullet. So yeah, my life could be worse. Anyways, fear says that something that can go wrong will go wrong. Logic says, is this what is best, or is this what is a better alternative? If so, let's stick with it. What do you think sounds more... I wouldn't even... Well, no, obviously the fear one isn't appealing. But the reality is, I think also there's like a stimulus that comes with it. I think there's also a reason that usually if somebody is dealing with some kind of problem, it takes them some time before they usually want help with it, rather than just nipping it in the butt. Because when it's something new, it's like, oh, this is interesting. Why do I feel like this? What is this? I don't mind this being here. It's a bit out of the ordinary. But then after a while, it just becomes normal, and then you have to face the reality of whatever these voices are, essentially. And then you decide, okay, yeah, let's try to deal with it. I know I've kind of gone down that path when it comes to just struggles in my life. Like, I rarely unless I'm like sick, that's the exception. Unless I'm like sick, I don't really like want to I'm not immediately trying to solve it, and that's something that I'm going to try to work on. So please hold me accountable to that if you can. But yes, that's all I really have for this. Fear is in... I don't have a good analogy for it. I was going to compare it to a woman, but I really didn't have any women I thought was a good idea to compare it to. Essentially, fear is like, it is anxiety, essentially. It's just rearing its head around the corner, and it's watching you, and it's going to try and pop out and scare you every once in a while. And you have to remind yourself of your calm, cool, consistent friend. That might be like the black coffee. And tell yourself that you're going to be okay, and that you don't have to listen to that voice, and that you have to listen to the voice of reason, essentially. So that's all I have for today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. You bozos stay safe, God bless, and I'll see you hopefully in the next one.